Access Fort Wayne offers reflections of our community. Production facilities provided by Access Fort Wayne are a service of the Allen County Public Library. The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting organizations. For more information about creating your own television program with Access Fort Wayne, call 421-1250.
Hello, I'm John Dickmeyer. Welcome to Potpourri. Today my guest is Shane Grantham, and we're just going to get right down to it. Every time Shane comes to see us, he wants to talk about computers, and every time I see Shane, I want to talk about computers. So let's talk about computers. Shane, what are we going to talk about today?
Oh, we're going to talk about a different operating system than Microsoft Windows. It's called Linux.
And we need to let people know that there are three basic operating systems that are commonly used today, that have an interface that ordinary folks can use for the kind of computer that we have on the table.
Graphical user interface, or GUI.
Yes.
Sometimes they're called.
GUI.
GUI, right.
Oh, please. Let's not go there. So the one that most people are familiar with is Microsoft.
Windows, yes.
And the current flavor of that is Windows 10.
Yes.
And that's what they want you to use. And if you try to use anything that's earlier than that, what happens to you?
Well, 7 is still supported and it's used, but they really are trying to get, Microsoft is trying to get people over to Windows 10.
And they use all kinds of methods to try to get you there. And indeed, you can get there free for the most part, if they make the offer. So that's true. So you've got the Windows, and
yes.
that's what most people use. Then we have a second system that you can take a bite out of. Maybe not literally, but figuratively, and that's Apple.
Yes.
And there are Apple computers, and
MacBooks.
They go back forever.
Right. Macintoshes, right. Laptops, desktops.
And then we have Linux.
Yes.
And from my perspective, there are two types of Linux, but they'll say that there are all kinds of variants.
Distributions or distros is what they're called.
That's right. But there's an old-fashioned Linux that's command-driven, and it's roughly equivalent to what would be command-driven on a Microsoft computer.
Yes.
The commands are Linux commands, and the Microsoft commands are Microsoft commands. So So if you're going to use either one of those in a command-driven situation, you've got to know all the individual commands for all the stuff that you do.
Right.
But most of us are not wanting to do that. So the Linux version is called Linux Mint. And that's graphical.
Yes.
So, and then there are different levels of that. The computer we have with us is actually 17.
Okay, Linux Mint 17, yes.
There are releases past that. 18 is out there, and there may be another one past that. And basically what they do is they look very, very, very similar to Windows, but they're not Windows.
No, they can't be. They get sued.
Of course, of course. So we all know why someone might want to buy a computer or get a computer with Microsoft. Why would you ever want to get a computer that has Linux on it?
Oh, Linux, I think the first thing is a cost. If you're cost conscious, Linux is generally free. The different distributions, you can download them off the internet or get them on a DVD or CD. I think it's more secure than Windows because most of my clients are Microsoft Windows clients, and the people who use Linux, including myself and of course yourself, we don't really have problems with viruses. There are supposed to be Linux viruses out there, but I've never run across them. So that's one thing.
Let's back up a minute because one of the big things that you do, Shane, is you have to deal with people who have gone to the wrong place at the wrong time and searched for the wrong thing. And what's the result?
If you don't have security software on your Windows computer, you're going to probably get infected, with maybe a virus, a Trojan downloader, a rootkit, spyware, things that you don't want on your computer that will probably slow it down. Maybe steal information, maybe use your computer to attack another computer, use your computer to spam other people, other computers, be part of a botnet. There's ransomware out there. There's just it's a dangerous world out there if you're not protected properly with a Windows computer. So.
And the thing is, with Linux, because it is not as popular, the bad boys don't normally go after a Linux computer.
Well, I hear that a lot, but I think it's just written. It's just a better operating system. It's older. It's been refined. It comes from Unix, which was created probably in 1970.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been reviewed, improved, protected, and it's written where the average user doesn't have access to the system files and can't do any real harm to the computer. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's a lot better than my experience with Microsoft products.
My feeling is, and I'd like to add something else.
Sure.
The Linux Mint has a program called Update Manager. And that Update Manager, I think, is a really super feature. When you're using a Microsoft computer, you sometimes have to wonder whether your programs are totally up to date, whether there's a hole there, or whether there's a problem. The Linux computer tells you through the update manager, here, there's an update. And if you're really assiduous about looking at that and really keep up to date every time that you see an update is available, that's another thing. All your programs, anything you have installed,
that is a good feature,
is updated, and you don't have to worry whether or not, you know, have I done it?
Has your web browser been updated, or is it behind?
That's right.
Plus the main operating system. In Windows, like Windows 10, I cringe when I see that update manager, because I had it one time reboot while I was in the middle of my accounting program, and I spent the next day or two getting my accounting program back to where it was when Windows 10 said, "Oh, we're going to reboot now. I don't care what you're doing," and I was in the middle. My file was open, my data file. So anyway, from what I've seen, Linux hasn't done that to me for all the years I've used it. It waits for you to do the update, but it does tell you, like you said, it gives you a little icon in the corner. So
Actually,
yeah, I do like that a lot better.
Actually, I have the update manager up, and I checked on it, and there's a check mark, and it says your system is up to date.
That's nice.
That means that whatever I've installed is up to date.
And that's important because malicious software looks for holes or old programs that aren't updated to get into your computer. It's possible they can get in that way also. So that's good to always have all your programs updated, even on Windows computers too. That's really important.
My feeling is that the 3 or 4 biggest gateways in, no matter what you're doing, are going to be, as you said, browsers, but also one of the key programs that most people don't mess with most of the time, and when it wants to update, then it always updates at the wrong time, and that's the Adobe software.
Okay.
that works with media, and that can be a problem.
Yeah, Adobe's a big window for malicious software. Adobe Reader, and then the one you said, the Adobe Player.
What we're going to investigate a little bit is, and we had talked earlier, and one of the issues is that all the names of the programs, for the most part, are different. So we're going to kind of look at some names, and one that I brought up on the screen is the word processing program, and that one is LibreOffice. Now, it's interesting to me that I can go to your website, and LibreOffice is one of your recommended third-party software.
Yes.
So this is one of them that you can get for both Windows or from Linux.
Yes. And the neat thing about Linux is it's already comes with Linux Mint, so you don't have to download it. Isn't it always on? It's on there, right? I thought it was always there.
Yes, it is. It's on there, and the interesting thing is then, but it's LibreOffice, so the Windows general version is Microsoft Office.
Right.
So then the equivalent is Writer, Math, Impress. Impress is the presentation software.
Like similar to
like
PowerPoint?
Like PowerPoint. Draw.
Okay.
Calc.
Is
like Excel.
Spreadsheet, yes.
And database is like DBase.
Okay.
So you can do pretty much everything that you could do the other way
with Microsoft Office.
With Microsoft Office.
You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to buy it, because Office doesn't come with Windows. Some people think that, but you have to buy it. You may get a trial version with Microsoft Office, but it will expire and you'll have to buy it.
Or you'll get a light version.
Okay, a light. Okay,
that's the other thing. I'm most impressed by the sound and video programs, and oh my, Brasero is a wonderful program. It'll burn just about anything.
DVDs, CDs.
Yeah.
And you can make an image file too, right?
Sure.
If you want to.
And it does a wonderful job. Oh, let's see what else. Here's another one that is the same. You can buy it, or I shouldn't say buy it. You can download it for Windows, or you can use it on Linux, and it's called Audacity.
And that comes built into. I mean, it comes already loaded.
It comes loaded, and you can use it, and it will allow you to play around with audio files.
That is nice.
And I like it, and I use that almost every day. Does a wonderful job, will output all kinds of versions, MP3s,
formats, different formats,
and yeah, a bunch of stuff. Now we get into some things that are not exactly the same. And I don't know how you spell this, but it's KDENLIVE. And it's a great video editor.
Okay, that's the one you were telling me about a month ago, and I forgot the name of it. Okay.
And it's super. You can take snippets and
nice.
And play around with it. You can do a whole lot of things that you can do with video editing programs, and the results are wonderful.
Did that come with Mint, or did you have to go to the software manager and download it?
Thank you for mentioning that. The software manager.
Yes, the software.
Oh. Shane has mentioned the software manager, and there it is. And to open it up, you use your password.
It's password protected, which is good.
And it'll come up in a moment, and it gives you the same categories that are used in the pop-up menu.
Right, like internet,
Oh, here they
audio-visual.
are. Featured all packages, internet, sound and video, graphics, office, games, accessories, system tools, fonts, science and education, programming. Oh my.
Yeah, it's nice.
You know, it's wonderful. And there are all kinds of packages. You can search it by natural language. What happened?
Oh,
Here it is. Okay, so if I wanted to query something, I could query.
yeah, search by the title.
If I don't want to query by the title,
You could go to the category and look for web browsers.
I could do that. I could look for whatever I want to look for.
And
it's a wonderful tool.
And the thing I want to bring up too is with Microsoft Windows, you're going to probably have to go to a website to find your different programs that you need. Whereas Linux, for the most part, everything's in that software manager. So it's kind of a more controlled, a safer environment than going out to the internet and not knowing what website you're going to. You could go to a malicious one by accident and you don't realize it, and you download something that isn't safe or not. So that's what I love about Linux. It's all in one spot, that software manager.
So So that's something that's really good. We're going to put this down because we don't really need this at this point. But let's continue because I think there are things here that you can use that are programs that maybe you can't get right off. There are some camera programs. One of them that's interesting is called Cheese.
Gee, I don't think I've ever used that one.
Oh, Cheese is wonderful.
Linux
And
cheese.
it isn't tasty either. What it is it's cheese like taking a photograph. And so if you need a picture, the HP computer that we were using is capable of taking a picture off the webcam.
Okay.
And you can take a picture off the webcam, and you've got a great mugshot.
Okay. Oh, you can use it for whatever.
That's
a
right.
business card, or maybe on your website or something.
The other thing is
Cheese.
the Linux Mint will allow you to insert your photo to identify yourself.
Okay.
You know, Windows does that.
Okay, I did.
Windows really likes you to have your picture that comes up when you bring up Windows. So, you know, it's good. So it's likely that you may be able to find whatever you're looking for in the software. Now, there are some tricks. There are a couple tricks that I think are important, and you and I have dealt with them. One of the issues is printers.
Oh, printing.
But remember, we talked about Linux, and we need and the original command language. And there are places where you need the command language. And maybe we ought to hold up some of these books.
Sure.
Here are some books that Shane decided that he thought were good if you're really interested in Linux.
This one's titled Unix, which Linux is based on. So this is a textbook I had in college, which is I still use it. You can see I've bookmarked it. All kinds of tabs.
The techie.
And this one's a Linux phrase book for the command line. It's really good. It's got a lot of stuff I've never used.
Yeah, words like that you have to learn, like sudo.
Right, sudo for administrator and,
yeah.
LS and all that stuff. And here's just another Linux operating system journal one. So.
And usually, if you need to do some of this stuff, there are prompts that'll help you.
Right, there's a man pages you can use. Just type MAN and then the command, and it will tell you how to use it.
They'll get you through, but it's the main problems are with would be with the printer and maybe scanners and those are brand hardware specific commands that the computer needs. That's one of the difficulties. But if you're plugging directly in, for the most part, your computer will be able to recognize a whole lot of things. A whole lot of the peripherals just automatically work.
It's a lot easier than the old days.
So, lastly but not leastly, John's reason for using Linux. One of them is if you have a computer that really doesn't like the upgrades to Windows. And a lot of times you can make an older computer work with Linux Mint that wouldn't work with Windows 10.
Excellent point. Yeah,
or wouldn't work. Another point is, wow, if you do a lot of searching and you know that you're going to be going places that might be difficult, if you would be hijacked, it's nothing to go in and reinstall Linux. If you ever try to reinstall Microsoft Windows 10, that's going to be interesting. Well, Shane, guess what? Do you believe it?
It went too fast.
Time on TV always goes too fast. For those of you that are looking, this is an option you might look at. I'm not suggesting you do that or don't do that. It's something to look at. It's an option. Talk to your professional. Talk to your IT professional. See if it might work for you.
Good point.
And that's all that we have to say. Thanks, Shane.
Oh, thanks, John, for having me.
Thank you all for being with us. I'm John Dickmeyer, and this has been Potpourri.